Hello fishing friends, I'm back down here again. We'll call this Useful Bung and Worming Tips or Beach Worms Part 2. Now then, when you come out worming, you should really head down to the beach. I don't know, get down to the beach a couple of hours before the low tide. But if you miss out on that, don't worry too much, because you can get a few worms on the incoming tide as well. Worms will be coming up where I'm walking. It's amazing sometimes. They're a bit like fish. You know, fish work on the tides, running out and running in. Worms do as well. And a lot of the time you'll find when the tide reaches dead low, they'll go quiet. They'll actually disappear sometimes, and you'll actually think that there's no worms here. You can walk down the beach and then come back to where you have been and seen no worms, and there'll be worms everywhere as soon as that tide starts moving in again. It's quite amazing. So I'm actually down here at the dead low tide now. I missed the run out, and yeah, I'm not seeing too many. I've seen a couple. I haven't had a go for them. Right, I'd like to show you another technique as well. The other way I showed you was when the worm relaxes. Okay, let's see if we can find a worm. And the reason I use a fish in a bag like this is because you can stick it at the top of the wave line, at the highest point, and then you're holding your piece of fish in your hand, whatever it might be. This case it's my pilchard in my stocking. You go down there and you start catching the worms, and the waves keep coming up to this bag, and the bag continues working for you, and it's still bringing worms up all around you. So while you're catching a worm, you can be looking around and seeing the other worms popping up, and you've already planned which is the next worm you're going to go for. Okay, there's a lovely worm down here. I've put my bag here. Water's still coming up, washing around that bag. It's going to continue taking the smell down all around this area. I've got this to work on this worm. Nice worm down here. I'll just coach him up a bit, tease him. Here he is. Right, he's on my offal. Fingers each side of his head there. See how he's coming up? He's arching. Then he's sitting there, now he's arching. Now I'm going to feel him relax. There he goes, he's relaxed now, and I'll squeeze. And I've got him. There he is. Pretty big. Look at him. He'll be on my hook. When you first pull them out, they're quite long. Be pushing be up to 5 foot long. Then they contract. Look at that. They're lovely looking, aren't they? Look at him. Now he's starting to contract. Yeah, they're lovely. They are. A lot of bait there. Okay. Right, we'll tease him. Here he comes. I'll let him get me offal now. There, he's on it now. See him arching up and pulling down. I'll just feel him relax in a minute. He's relaxing now. There he goes. I'm squeezing. Here he comes. There he is. Still coming out. Oh. Absolute how hard was that? Now I grabbed that worm about there. Easy to feel. You just got to play around with it and you'll learn it. I'll now show you another technique I know. You know, when you walk on the wet sand, see that? And you push your foot down, you can see the compression around the edge of your foot. See that? Anyway, that's what I do with the very tips of my fingers. Push down on the sand hard, squeeze. That way you get the pressure of the sand around the worm's head as well as your fingers. So I'll try and show you how that works. There's a nice worm here. Come on, my little worm. I've actually got sinkers tied to my camera legs on the little tripod. It's working good. Come on, there he is. See that? He just sucked himself back in. See if he comes back. Yeah, there he is. Try not to waste too much time on one worm. If he doesn't want to come to the party, try and find one what will. Well, he came up a bit then, so I'll just wait for this to run back. There he is. Come on. Well, there's another one here. Let's go to him. Wait for some water. There's the water. The worms can be like this. Sometimes they're jumping out of the sand, sometimes they're not. There he is. There's a big worm. Okay. Yep, there he is. Started to feed on the offal. Okay, I'll do the push down technique and slowly squeeze at the same time, and it worked, and we've got him. Look at that. He's long, of a good 5 foot long worm. So that was the push down. Push down on the tips of my fingers. That compresses the sand around the worm. Squeeze at the same time, and that works. Not all the time, but it's worth trying. If the worm's sitting there and not doing much, just try to do that. I'm on a lovely sandbar here. You can see the sandbar. You soon realise if you come down worming where you should be worming and where you shouldn't. But you watch, when this tide starts moving up over this sandbar, there'll be worms coming up all along here and here. There'll be worms here where I'm walking. I remember catching my first worm when I was about 10 years old, and it was what we call a pinhead, a little baby worm. Maybe they're the ones you should be practicing on. They're actually the best bait, the little ones. I think they're the easiest ones for the fish to get hold of. But yeah, you put a skinny little worm on the hook and there's whiting there, he gets snaffled up real quick. Look at this, guys. tide is pumping in now. All my sandbar is covered. You saw that earlier on, that was all high and dry. Now I'm on the slopey bit of the beach, going into the deep water to that sandbar. There's worms starting to come up along here. Look at these here. The tide's coming in. So are the worms. Look at them. You wouldn't have imagined worms to have been here. There's two. There's one there. There he is. One there. I'm going to try and catch him. He is so chunky. He's beautiful. Tide is pumping in. The worms are still coming up. They will, it's amazing. The tide can come halfway in, even to nearly top of the tide, and you can still be catching worms. One here. I'll do the push down technique. Push down with my fingers and squeeze. Got you! So you got the relax technique and the push down hard technique. And the other technique is go to the shop and buy some if you can't catch one. There are a couple of good bungum wormers in this state who do supply the shops. So they are there to buy if you need to. He's coming up here. Look at him, he jumped out. Tide's so high now. So these would have been lying under the wet, high and dry sand all afternoon. Come on, come up again. Oh, there he is. Radio. This one will be the push down technique. Right, push down hard and squeeze. And we got him. I didn't wait for him to do anything then. I just pushed down really hard and squeezed, and I got him. Look at him. I'll wait for some water. Okay. Oh, he's arching up nice. I'll do the push down technique. Push hard and squeeze. Look at that. Got him. I didn't wait for him to relax then at all. Got him that far below the head. There you go, guys. That just goes to show you can catch them when the tide is quite high. Doesn't always have to be low tide. It's wise to get down at low tide, but you can keep worming when the tide's well on its way in. Hey, look down here, there's one. Look how deep the water is there. There's a worm right there. Look, there's another one. There's a lot here. Look at all them. There must be 10 worms there. You'll see them. Look, they just keep showing little dimples. Look at that. They're probably the ones you want to practice on. But that is the best one for bait. Whiting dive on them. They really do. So guys, I've had enough now. I think I've done more talking than beach worming. But I hope you've got some more tips there. That's the push down technique. Push down on your fingers, the sand compresses around the worm's head, and squeeze at the same time. Or the relax technique. You'll feel the worm, he'll arch up, then you'll start relaxing, you'll feel the worm just like pulsing between your fingers, and it's all about timing. When you get that timing right, you just squeeze him. When he's relaxed, just pull him out. So let's have a look at what I've got, and then I'm going home. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you out fishing again soon. I hope you're enjoying what I've already put up, because I certainly enjoy it. See you, dudes.